It's time to get moving. Today we're going to use a chair, a WundaCore, and a yoga block. So gather all of those tools and let's get ready to move together. We're going to start with your yoga block. If you don't have one, a stack of books will absolutely do the trick. And we're going to sit down on our chair. So you're going to sit on the chair, and the yoga block is going to go on the ground just in front of you. So I have it the wide way in front of my chair. And I'm going to bring my feet onto the yoga block in a closed parallel position. So my heels are hanging off the back side and all 10 toes are on the yoga block. You're going to sit up nice and tall. Sorry, I forgot to grab my WundaCore. Grab that too. So you've got your yoga block under your feet. Knees and toes are strongly glued together. And we're going to take our WundaCore at the base of your ribs. So you can find the kind of most sticky outy bit of your ribs, and you're going to snuggle the WundaCore there, hands come on the front. All right, we're ready to get moving. So we're going to sit tall, sending energy into the WundaCore, kind of having a debate between our ribs and the WundaCore, wanting to go forward and back. And then we're going to exhale, heels melt down towards the ground. And then we're going to inhale as we peel the heels up. So the idea is we're working on the functionality of our feet and our ankles and our knees and our hips, even all the way up the spine through the neck. Because if we can get ourselves organized and functional from the base up, we're going to be in good shape. The reason we're using the WundaCore here is to help teach us to find breath in the back side of the body rather than just sending breath forward. So on the inhale breath, as we allow our heels to pick up, can you send the breath towards the back side of your ribs rather than pushing the WundaCore forward? So it's going to be an exhale when the heels melt down and an inhale as the heels come up. And it wants to get after it. He's ready to work with me. All right, let's layer on here. What we're going to do is we're going to prance with our feet. So that means the left heel stays up, right heel goes down. And then we're going to switch mid-air, and now the left heel goes down, right heel comes up. It starts to get shaky and tricky. It's a sneaky one because we're firing on all of our stabilizing muscles, and we are pushing the range of movement with our ankles, with the talus joint, while we're keeping ourselves organized with the WundaCore sitting super tall on your sitting bones. Try to make sure that you are right on the apex, the most pointy bit of your sitting bones. Sitting even taller every time you inhale, broadening collarbones, lengthening your spine for 4. We're going to do 3 more. Focus on that inhale through the back side of the body, lengthening your spine. And even yourself out. Bring the heels together, hold. We're going to inhale, rotate the ribs towards the left. Exhale through center. So you're holding your heels in a shaky spot for you. Inhale as you rotate, exhale down. If you keep rotating on your end, if you're not feeling that shake, you need to send energy down through all 10 toes, really imprinting into that yoga block. We want to make sure we're right on top of sitting bones, inviting the thigh bones deep into the pelvis, and magnetize your outer thighs. The other thing to find that little quiver shake connection, I'm shaking like crazy over here, you want to find your heel height, not parked at a spot where you're just leaning into the joint or parking into the joint. You want to make sure you're working with the sole of the foot. You've got the heels at a challenging height, engaging inner thighs, outer thighs into the abdominals. Hold back to center once you're even. 5, 4, 3. We're not quite done yet in this seated position. Take the WundaCore in front of you. Fingertips are reaching forward. Lots of energy through the balls of your feet. Lots of energy out through the outer thighs. We are going to melt the shoulder blades down. Inhale. WundaCore comes up and overhead. Lots of energy, lots of effort. The legs are not chilling because we're seated. And then we're going to inhale, arc to the left. Exhale, pick it back up. Deep abdominal effort. Inhale, arc to the right. Exhale, draw it back up. It's not about how far we go, guys. It is about the intention and organization of the ribs fanning as we work. Inhale, fan. Exhale, use the abdominals to pick it back up. Keeping head in line with spine. Magnetize the outer thighs. We're going to go one more towards the left. Exhale with strength. Stack your ribs right on top of your pelvis. Inhale, arc towards the right. Exhale, pick it up. And bring the arms all the way down with intention. Beautiful. All right, we're going to take our WundaCore around our ankles. Rise onto your feet. It's going to come around your ankles. You don't need the chair for this bit, but if you need it for balance, feel free to put your hand on it. We're going to take the yoga block in between your inner thighs like this, and you're going to have your feet in parallel. We're going to go into some squats using both tools. Now, if this feels like it's jammed or too tight, you can also turn it this way. It doesn't work for my body's proportions, but you do what works for you. It can be narrow or it can be wide, okay? You want to feel feedback, but not have it like jammed in there. All right, here we go. Bow forward, that's an exhale, sinking your tailbone down and back. Okay, so hold here. The intention is to find so much work to hold this yoga block and keep the intention outbound into the WundaCore. So my legs are really quivering because I have lots of intentional weight through the soles of my feet. Lots of intention out into the WundaCore, and lots of intention just to hold that darn yoga block in place. All right, here we go. From the hip crease, turn the torso upright. Keeping your knees bent, we're gonna exhale, bow forward. So we're working from the pelvis, rolling over tops of our thigh bones. In my own body, I'm starting to feel some gripping on the front side of my ankles. So I'm going to share a little more work with my heels. So if you share a little more work with your heels, you're going to get out of that kind of gripped experience. So see if you can find that. And now I've got a lot more shared, better effort. You can have your hands in prayer, you can have your hands out to the sides, whatever works with you. But you want to find that intention of your spine, ribs, head, neck, pelvis, all working together, all working on the same plane as we lower and raise. Inhale to pick it up. Exhale as we send it down. Here we go for a 3. Inhale and pick it up. Arms can go out to the sides. Exhale, reach, stretch, stretch, stretch as you send it down. Inhale, pick it up. Last one. Exhale, send it down. Pause, hold. Can you get a little bit lower, a little bit deeper into that squat? Share the work with the soles of your feet so that you are finding deep connection rather than gripping on the tops of feet or front side of ankles. So shift the weight around like it's sand, kind of melting around the soles of your feet for 3. Lengthen and reach for 2. And inhale, gather, and pick it all the way up. All right, beautiful job. We're going to set that yoga block aside for just a second, and we're going to continue working with our chair and our WundaCore. Watch out, sweet love. Okay, so you have the chair at the end of your mat, because we're going to bring our foot above, or just from the ground up to the chair. So get your feet under it a little bit, not a whole lot. Left arm goes down on the ground. Your left ear is resting on your biceps. The WundaCore is the wide way, just in front of your torso, and my hand is imprinting down through the center of that WundaCore. Both legs go long, so you want to get your body like a pencil. Both legs go long, and now you've got to put some intention downbound into the WundaCore, because your legs are going to reach so long that they hover off the ground. Legs reach so long they hover off the ground. Check in with your bottom ribs. Your left ribs are going to want to melt towards the ground. They're going to want to melt towards the ground. I have the front side of my ankles yawned all the way open now. And from here, we're going to keep the left leg hovered if that's accessible to you today. And then we're going to inhale, pick up the right leg. It's not going to be super far before it hits the bottom of that chair. And then exhale, bring it back down. So the bottom leg is hovered the whole time. It's reaching. And then the top leg is doing a small range of movement from closed legs, and then you're opening the top leg just a little bit to tap the underside of that chair. We're going to go for 4 more like this. It should feel like a major balance challenge as well, you guys. You should feel that hip bone under your left hip, like you're balancing right on the top of it. 1 more. Hold the legs together, hold. If it's getting aggressive for you, the bottom leg can always bend and rest on the ground. All right, we're gonna bend the top leg forward and bring it above the chair. Now it's on top of the chair. We can find the chair with your foot or your ankle. Hold, both legs are reaching, neither leg is resting. And now we're gonna raise the right leg up in a higher range of movement and then tap down bound. So inhale, lengthen, reach. Make sure the ribs don't collapse just because we are higher. Keep the right hip reaching from right ribs. And keep the left ribs, the bottom ribs, drawing up towards your spine. Both legs are reaching so long. We're gonna go for 4 more like this. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to lower. Visualize the top of your right thigh bone, swiveling or swimming through the dome of the pelvis. It's not swiveling so much as just gliding through. We're gonna hold the last one up, hold it up. Maybe reach your left leg, the bottom leg a little bit higher, reaching for 5. Here we go for 4. This is 3. We're gonna stay side lying from 2 and bring the left leg down and allow the right leg to join. So here's what we're gonna do now. Bend both legs so it's about a 45-degree angle with your knee bend. And then we're gonna take the WundaCore in your hand, so it's in between my hands, the wide way. And I'm gonna take that above my head. Sometimes it's easier to work on our shoulder mobility when we are either side lying or supine on our back, okay? So even though the WundaCore is there, our arms are long, we're sending lots of energy inbound. So it should feel like a lot of work and opening through the tops of your shoulders. Okay, here we go. We're gonna bring the heels up. We're going into clamming, holding the WundaCore like this. Swivel out on an inhale, heels are strongly glued together. And exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, swivel to open. Exhale, bring it back down. Try not to let the heels move in space. Mine wanted to drop down straight away and take off some of the effort. But let's make sure that we're focused on keeping that effort and energy. So I've got lots of energy magnetizing my heels. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you bring it down. Keep working on your end. I'm going to come take a peek at what's going on. Inhale as you reach. Exhale as you magnetize and swivel back down. Good. Making sure that your heels are in line with your pelvis. If that's not true, make that true. Can you ask for more space across this top crease of your shoulders? Ask for more space. See if you can breathe into that. Good. And I'd love to see your heels a little bit higher. See what happens to the effort through the bottom leg. Beautiful. That was it. Good. Keep working. Keep working. 2 more like this. Banded decided to take my spot. Move it, cutie pie. All right, we're going to go for 2 more. Here we go, gang. Swiveling and opening. Now we are swiveling through the dome of the pelvis. Lots of energy. Down, down through both arms. Inbound on the WundaCore. Hold and breathe. Your legs are open in a clamped position. Heels are glued together. Can you swivel that top inner thigh open 1 millimeter more? Can you intention 3% more down through the bottom leg for 5? Lengthen both sides of the waistline for 3. This is 2. And bring it all the way down. Gorgeous. All right, come on up. We are going to have our hands on our chair. If that's not accessible to you with your wrists, you can always come onto your forearms, okay? I know we have some sensitive wrists in the Zoom room today, so we can come on forearms if we'd like, or hands wide on your chair. I have the WundaCore between my inner thighs, just an inch or 2 above my knees, not super, super high. Here we go. Hands are going to come wide onto the chair. Walk yourself back into a plank position. Pause. Collarbones are wide. Head is in line with spine. We're lifting ribs up and in, continuing to breathe into the back side of the body, and making sure our pelvis is also in line with our ribs. From here, it's going to be a small range of movement. We're not going to change our shoulders at all. All right, deal? We're going to send our pelvis up and back like an inch, but the shoulders don't change. It's the hips lifting up and back. That's an inhale. And then exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lift. Your heels don't change either. It's the thigh bones tipping the pelvis up and back. Nice long lines, working at length. Exhale, bring it back to plank. Inhale, lengthen up and back. Here we go for 3. This is 2. Can you open the collarbones wider? Get your head better aligned with your spine. Hold it up and back in that baby pike. 5, 4, 3, 2, and walk your feet in. All right, we're going to use the back side of our chair to support us with balance. And we're going to take that WundaCore just above your ankles again. Actually, I'm going to switch that. I'm going to ask for calves. We normally do ankles. We're going to do some clock sweeps, but I'm going to ask for calves. So you're going to use the back side of your chair to support your balance. We're going to have our feet in turnout to start with. So I have inner thighs turned out, and I have my toes following that turnout. Today I'm going to ask us to inhale and float onto the balls of our feet, onto the balls of your feet. Once that's true, we are going to allow the leg, the right leg on my body is closest to the chair, adjust as needed, and I'm going to stand on the left ball of my foot and flex the right foot. So now my right foot is not on the ground anymore, and I'm staying as upright as possible. So now I'm going to swivel forward, inhale, and exhale, swivel back. So we're going internal to external. So the idea is we want to keep our pelvis and our spine pretty quiet. And then we're swiveling around. All right, keep working. I'm going to give you another option. If you're starting to feel grippy in your standing leg, you can put that foot down and you'll still have room to swivel if you flex your right foot and ankle a lot. So you can see that my heel is still clearing the floor, still clearing the mat. And the intention is about the movement coming from the top of the thigh bone rather than from the foot or ankle on that right foot on the gesture leg. You can take your left arm up and out. And you can see how light of a touch can you get on the right side. So it's easier to lighten up that touch if you have your left foot flat on the ground. All right, keep working. My WundaCore's wiggling a little bit. I got slippery pants on today. I'm going to come back onto the ball of my foot. You can do a few either way. We're going to hold the next one in that internally rotated position where the leg is behind you. I don't care how far. Keep your ribs right on top of pelvis for 5, 4, lengthen and reach, 2, and bring it down. All right, from here, you guys, we are going to go with the WundaCore around the ankles, Hands are on the back of your chair. We're going to start in the best L shape that we can. So we're going to get as close to an L as we can. All 10 toes are shining straight forward. Your hands or forearms, if that's better in your body today, are on the back of the chair. From here, we're going to keep our shoulders pretty quiet again, but we're going to bend the knees as much as we can without dropping the pelvis really low. So mine changed maybe half an inch. Exhale, bend. So it's like fascial flossing plus an inch. How about that? You guys know fascial flossing well? We're going to exhale as we lower, creasing at the hips. Inhale as you lengthen, layering on. Bend the knees, hold. Make sure you have lots of length. Sitting bones are super broad. Lots of energy out into your WundaCore. Then we are going to keep our pelvis the same height. Inhale, pick up your heels. Yawn open the front side of the ankles, just like we did on the yoga block earlier. Exhale, strongly imprint down, but your knees should still be bent. So we're not going back to straight legs. We're inhaling, peeling our heels off the ground. You can see really clearly here if your knees are aligned big toe, second toe. If that is not true, they might be tipping inbound. That's usually what I see here. So just make sure that you are keeping the inner thighs spiraling out just a little bit. I'm going to come check on y'all, so keep working. It's an inhale to pick it up, and it is an exhale to set it down. Good. Collarbones nice and wide. And as you're working again, can I see more energy to the intention of the heels down, like you have little marshmallows under your heels, and you want to imprint them down into the ground. Make a mess to pick up after we work out together. Good, 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 good. Keep going. A few more like this. Find more openness and space through your spine. Hold the heels up about halfway, where it's a really good challenge for you. Can you get your pelvis down and back just a little bit? Your pelvis will dip. If you need a visual aid, it's going to look something like this. Here we go, 5. Make sure your heels are the shaky spot for 3. Energy across all 5 toes, both feet. Heels come down, pause. I'm going to ask you to walk your hands to the ground. Knees are going to extend as far as you can, keeping your hands down. And then we slowly roll all the way up. All right, let's take that clock sweep other side. So we are going to use the back side of our chair again. We now have our left hand on the back of the chair, and we're in a soft turnout with our feet. So we want to be close enough that we're not going to lean onto the chair. So you want to be relatively close to it. First thing we're going to do is inhale, hover the balls of both feet off, the heels, so you're on the balls of your feet. And here we go, we're gonna flex the left foot, and then we're gonna go into those clock sweeps, swiveling forward. This is an inhale. We exhale as we bring it out to the side, keep the foot flexed a lot, and inhale, bring it back. Exhale to this side. Inhale forward. Exhale to the side. This is going to slow you down as well if you focus on that breath. And inhale, bring it back. Again, if rising on the standing leg, being on the ball of the standing foot is not for you today, then you can bring that heel down, or you can kind of switch through the series. You can switch. You choose. You can choose to bring the right arm long. Just keep that left foot flexed, and to the best of your ability, keep your ribs right on top of your pelvis. Swiveling from the top of the thigh bone. It's not about distance, how far we swing the leg front to back. It is about moving this thigh bone, swiveling through the dome of your pelvis. Little ball and socket joint there. Lengthen and reach. And exhale, swivel back around. In that standing leg, make sure that you have lots of energy reaching your inner thigh up alongside your spine, and maybe even out of your shoulder alongside your ear. Swiveling forward. Let's hold this next one back. We're gonna hold it back. Mine weevil wobbled more than I would like it to. So we're gonna swivel it back. You can be on the ball of your foot, or foot is flat. Hold and breathe for 5. We're internally rotated for 4. Here's 3, 2, and bring it all the way down. All right, we're going to use that WundaCore again, this time on our right side. So we're going to go into our little side lying series, and we're going to start with the WundaCore under our left hand. So you're going to lay down on your right ear goes onto your right biceps, and you want to have your feet just under the chair. Maybe the ankles, okay? WundaCore is the wide way, it's under your left hand. First thing we're going to do is lengthen the top leg, the left leg. Reach it so long that it reaches under the chair and hovers. And then invite the right leg to join it. So now both legs are hovered and long. And it should feel like a lot of work just to balance. A lot of work balancing on your bottom hip. Maybe even take a second to rock your hips front to back. Just see what you see there. And see if you need to find a more centered position. It's going to give you so much more core effort. All right, here we go. Top leg lifts and reaches on an inhale. Tap the underside of the chair. And then exhale, bring it down. If you don't happen to have a chair super handy, or if you're working on the edge of a sofa or a counter or something, think about just what this range of movement looks like and how small it is. My foot is moving maybe like 5 inches, somewhere around there. We're keeping it in the lower portion, and we'll go into a higher version, and you can use an imaginary chair if you don't have one handy. Lengthening and reaching, bottom ribs, the right ribs absorbing up towards center. Keeping both sides of the waistline really long. One more like this. Pause. Keep your right leg off the floor. keep it long. Left leg bends and it reaches above the chair. So you can start on the chair just to kind of get your bearings. Make sure both sides of the waistline are long. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bring it down. Top of the thigh bone, of that left thigh bone, is tipping in to the dome of the pelvis, the little ball and socket joint. And that is why your foot and lower leg are raising. So try to intention from closer to the core, and you'll get better support through your center. Inhale, reach, and exhale, bring it back down. We're going to go for 4 more here, then we've got that clamming. Lengthen and reach. Think about both inner thighs stretching longer than the soles of your feet. This is 2. Last one. And bring the right leg bent on the ground. Ask the left leg to join it. So just kind of glance at your feet. Make sure that they are aligned with your pelvis and your knees are bent and stacked. From here, we're going to take that WundaCore into our hands the wide way, and we're going to hold it in our hands to help us learn to access this full range of movement. Do you see how you've got your hands over your head if we were to tip you upright? A lot of times people are a little concerned to do that, like, oh, my shoulders can't quite do it, and hands come in front of you. So let's see if we can't train it in a different position and kind of trick our little brain to find that mobility, full range of movement. All right, keep your knees together on this side. I'm going to set it up a little differently. Keep your knees together and lift your heels up first, but make sure your pelvis doesn't tip forward. Keep your hips stacked, pick up your feet. All right, keeping your heels strongly glued together. Now we're going to go into that clamming. Inhale, swivel open. Exhale as we magnetize those legs back to start. Oh, bandage right, please no. Inhale as you swivel open. Exhale as you bring it down. When we have our hands overhead, it's quite tempting to pop your ribs forward. So just check in with your body and make sure that you've got your ribs in alignment with your pelvis and that you're keeping your low back long. It's super tempting to shorten your low back and kind of puff out your chest. Inhaling as we swivel that left leg open. What would happen if you lifted your heels up like an inch? See what happens. You're going to find a lot more energy down through the bottom leg, a lot more effort through the bottom hip. Just a few more here. Lots of length on both sides of your waistline. Do you still have energy in on the WundaCore? Try to find that. Here we go for 3. We're going to hold it open. This is 2. Find that intention from the top of the left thigh moving. Hold it open, please. Hold and breathe. Hold. We're going to see if we can open the top leg just a tiny bit more. Can we send 3% more intention down into the bottom leg for 3? This is 2. And exhale, bring it down. All right, we're going to turn onto your back, and you want to get in a position where your feet or ankles can be at the edge of your chair. So make sure that's true. I know we have some sensitive low backs today, so if you need to keep your knees bent, you simply scoot your tush closer to the chair. All right, so legs long is more aggressive, knees bent is going to be gentler on your low back. Take your WundaCore the wide way, and it's going to go just under the base of your skull. So it's at the top of your neck. It should not be touching shoulders or anywhere near there. Your head is on the WundaCore, not your neck. Elbows are visible from corners of eyes. Lay all the way down, so my fingertips are touching the mat under the WundaCore. Keep your legs long, keep your pelvis neutral. We're going to inhale. Just let the weight of your head sink into the WundaCore as you pick up your head off the mat. Exhale, peel your shoulder blades. They don't have to come all the way up. You're going to choose how far you come up for this hold. I have my legs in first position, heels touching, toes turned out, kind of like how we were just clamming. And make sure that your low back is not smashed down into the mat. You want to find that natural curve and space there. Can you send 2% more of the weight of your head into the WundaCore? There should not be any neck tension. Okay, here we go. From the top of the right inner thigh, inhale, right leg picks up. Exhale, set it all the way down. I'm going to flip that breath. Exhale, left leg picks up. Inhale, set it all the way down. So I'm flipping breath and you'll see why in a moment. Exhale, right leg picks up. Inhale, set it down. Exhale, left leg picks up. Inhale, set it down. All right, if this is a good challenge for you today, stay right here. If you are looking for more, you can try on an exhale breath, both legs hovering, and then inhale. The important part is to set it all the way back down. Allow that release. That's how we'll keep it in the core. If you start bouncing through the movement, keep working on your end. If you start bouncing and just kind of tapping your feet down onto the chair surface, you're going to start getting into gripping with your hips. So the way that you find the core is to allow the legs to actually rest and pause for the quickest little beat. And then you pick it up with an exhale, gathering everything towards center. Let's go for a few more like that. If the head being lifted is aggressive, lower it down a little or set your head all the way down onto the mat. Either way works. But really make sure you trust and find that release at the bottom every time. This is going to be the last one. Make it the best one. Exhale, pick it up. Inhale, set it down. All right, you guys, here we go. We are going to set the WundaCore aside, and we're going to use the chair, and we're going to go into a Wunda twist using the chair. It's going to give us a little elevated surface versus when we do it on the mat. So take your hands onto the wider part of your chair, and then we're going to step our feet back. Step your feet back. So to start with, I'm going to take my left ankle in front of my right. My shoulders do not change. They stay shining towards the chair, but I'm going to swivel my pelvis, okay? And we're going to be doing a mini Wunda twist here today, a mini. So here we go. The left hip swivels up and back, and my shoulders can shift back a little bit, not a lot. That's going to be an exhale, and then inhale, unwind. Exhale, pick it up and back. And inhale, unwind. Keep working. I'm going to show the option on the ground if you don't have a chair, or this is a slightly more aggressive variation on this same exercise, lifting up and back. Because now we're at a lower place and we're not giving ourselves the height to reduce a little bit of the challenge. Either way, you're going to get real beautiful work. Just keep it very small. Exhale, swiveling up and back. We're going to go for 3 more. Keep it small. It's not a full range today. Here's 2. And last one. Bring it all the way in. All right, continuing with our chair, and I'm going to ask you to grab your WundaCore again. If you don't have one, you can hold prayer hands. But what we're going to do is take our seat onto the chair, but I'm hanging off of it. The seam of my pants are literally lined up with the edge of the chair, okay? We're going into a tweezer, but I'm going to ask for the WundaCore across the top of your left thigh, so it's like this on my leg. And it's important for a few setup things to make sure your knee is aligned, big toe, second toe. You can see my left knee is in front of my ankle crease. And for my height in this chair, I'm going to keep my right knee bent. If it feels better for you to send your leg back, and you can do it without shortening your low back, like this is no good for me. But if that's something that works on your end, go for that. You want to try to get your right knee under your hip, if that is accessible to you. Keeping your ribs right on top of pelvis. It's another small range of movement, energy down to the WundaCore. We're going to pick up via the inner thighs on an inhale. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to trust, and we're going to set it all the way down. Inhale, pick it up via the inner thighs. Exhale, set it all the way down. Lots of energy through the sole of your left foot. Inhale, pick it up. Exhale, set it down. Do you notice that I'm lifting off the chair like an inch? Keep it very small, and you're going to get more core, inner thigh, and attention to your pelvic floor. Inhale, pick it up. Exhale, set it down. 2 more like this, guys. Can you make it even smaller? And can you give an even more intentional release at the bottom? Same idea, release. Inhale, pick it up, hold 5, 4, oh my gosh, I know, 3, 2, and bring it all the way up. Okay, beautiful job. We're gonna go into a squat using our WundaCore and the chair. Come into a closed parallel position, knees and toes glued together, and we're gonna stretch that WundaCore wide. So now I have my hands folded over it, and we're gonna stretch it wide before we get started. All right, here we go. Exhale, creasing at the hips, then the knees bend, make sure they're just in front of the ankle crease, and we're gonna find that chair, that's a long exhale, inhale, pick it up, and as you're stretching your WundaCore wide. I'm gonna show it from a profile, keep working. So it's a sinking down, pelvis rolling over the tops of thigh bones, knees just in front of ankle crease, exhaling on the way down, inhaling on the way up. I know we've worked on this together before. We've done lower range of movement, we've tested out a full range of movement, and today I'm challenging your breath. I'm not giving you that exhale to propel you up. If this is feeling aggressive in your body, then feel free to switch the breath. So if it's like, ain't no way I'm getting up and off that chair without my hands to assist me or my arms to kind of push off of the chair, then please, by all means, flip that breath. And the exhale will give you a little more oomph to get up and out as you're learning how to raise off of that chair with your core and your hips. Finding the power in the center of your body, stretching the WundaCore wide, lots of energy through the mid-back, lots of energy across the collarbones. We're gonna go for 2 more like this, then we're gonna take the tweezer on the other side. Lots of melting energy down through the soles of your feet. Intentioning from the pelvis, rolling over thigh bones. This is gonna be the last one, exhaling down. Sitting bones nice and broad as you tap, and inhale. Whoosh, pick it all the way up. All right, gang. Let's take that tweezer, other side. So this time we have the right foot just in front of the chair. Make sure it's in a position where you're seated with the seam of your pants at the edge of the chair. Making sure right knee is aligned, big toe, second toe, and just in front of your ankle. And again, depending on your height, I like my knee right below my hip, but if it is better for you to have your leg long, just make sure your low back is also long. Here we go. We are going to inhale, pick up the inner thighs, and exhale, set it back down. Little tiny lift. Inhale, pick it up, and exhale, set it down. I'm gonna come take a peek. Keep working, gang. Good. Can we keep ourselves as centered as possible? I know that is so tricky to do. You want to kind of lean into that chair. Can we keep ourselves from tipping forward and go for a smaller range of movement? Yeah, that was beautiful. Good. Lots of energy through the inner thighs. I know it is tricky and it's really tempting to kind of either push from the back leg or grip with the front leg. See if we can find lots of energy through the inner thighs. We're going to go for 2 more. And then this particular bit is going to be behind us. Hold and breathe. 5. Ribs right on top of pelvis. 4. Can you get a little bit lower but not down to the chair for 3, 2, and bring it down. Beautiful. I know those are spicy. Beautiful job, you guys. Let's set the chair off to the side for a moment, and we're going to do some work on the mat. We're going to sit, and we're going to go into some teaser variations. So I'm going to ask you to bring the WundaCore around your calves again. And we're going to practice our internal, external rotation again. All right. I know this is some of your favorite exercise. So we're going to practice it together on the ground and just continue to build our toolkit of the moves we can do and the core work we can access. So we're going to take your hands behind your thighs, elbows nice and wide. Lean with a flat back on an inhale. Exhale, allow your tailbone and your pelvis to roll first, then your low back, and maybe your middle back, maybe. So it's a shallow, long curl. Hold. We're going to inhale for length. And then on the exhale, use your arms and shoulders to help support your legs connecting to your core. Heck yeah, I see you. Beautiful. And pick it all the way up. So we're in a bent knee teaser to start with. We're just gonna hold here. Can you find more breath on the backside of your ribs? Remember how we started the workout. Find that. And exhale, funnel the ribs down into the pelvis, shoulder blades following. Lots of energy through the arms and shoulders. They should be working big time. Inhale. Lots of breath to the backside of the ribs. Exhale, funnel down. All right, keep holding. If you need to ever take a pause, you can bring your feet down and then hop back in. And we're gonna swivel. You can use your hands to kind of guide this. Swivel internally on an inhale. And then exhale, swivel externally. I'm going to show you more from a forward-facing pose. So we start parallel, we inhale, internally rotate, the feet tip out, the inner thighs tip in, and then we change that. Swiveling from the tops of the thigh bones. Good, keep working. I'm going to come peek and see what you got going on your end. Inhale, swivel internally. Yeah. Beautiful. Can you open the front side of the ankles? So it's both legs swiveling internally at the same time, and then both legs swiveling internally. I'm seeing some rocking side to side, so it's actually just turning left to right. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, guys, here we go for 3. Keep working. You can remove the arms if you'd like to for this last little bit. And we're going to pick the spot that you love to hate. For me, that's internal. Pick the spot you love to hate. Hold and breathe. Maybe we ask your right arm to come up and out. Oh, dear Lord. Here we go. Maybe the left arm comes up and out as well. Lots of energy out into the WundaCore. Lots of breath to the backside of the ribs for 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring your feet down. Spectacular. Let's set that WundaCore aside. We're going to go into that baby Wunda twist, other direction. So you know you've got choices, hands on the chair or hands on the ground. If it's not for you to be on your hands today, forearms can come onto the edge of your sofa or your chair or the ground. Set it up in your closed parallel plank. Right ankle crosses in front of the left. The pelvis swivels, but the hips and the pelvis swivel, the shoulders stay the same. And then on the exhale, drag that right hip up and back like it's on a fishing line. The shoulders can hinge back a little. And then we're going to inhale, unwind back to start. Reaching up and back, swivel, swivel. And bring it back to start. Lengthening and reaching. When we work in this smaller range of movement, it's going to give us more focus through the deep abdominals, through the lower portion of our core. When we keep this range of movement really small, if you don't have a chair handy, we got options. We can go on the floor, lengthening, swiveling up and back on that exhale. Inhale for length as you unwind. Let's go for 3, finding lots of space between your shoulder blades. Collarbones nice and wide. This is our last one. And bring it all the way down. Beautiful job. All right, one last item of fun, gang, and then we are going to stretch it out. So we're going to take our WundaCore between your inner thighs. I'm now seated down on the mat. And I'm going to be close to the chair, but with a good amount of space between my knees and the chair. So I've got like at least 6 inches there, okay? Lay all the way down on your back. We're going to take our hands, like we have the WundaCore, under the base of your skull. It's like a hammock. Inhale, pick your head up. Allow the weight of your head to melt into your hands and your shoulders. Exhale, pick your knees up into tabletop position. Inhale, lengthen the legs. So my calves are just barely going to graze the edge of the chair. Exhale, bring it back to start, tabletop. Little bus driver to finish. We're going to swivel the legs towards the left just a little bit on the inhale as we extend. Exhale, bring it back in. Swivel the legs just a little bit to the right. So you can think about this as a bus driver or a little bit of a downhill ski. But you can see your feet. You can see your ankles. As you swivel, make sure they stay aligned with one another. We don't want one foot tipping in, one foot kind of swirling about. keep them as close to organized parallel as they swivel. So they're parallel relative to each other, and they're swiveling relative to the chair or the sides of the room. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Exhale, bring it back. All right, gang, we're gonna go and even it out. So we're gonna go for 2 more. Inhale, lengthen, swivel to the left, hold 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale, bring it in. Swivel and hold to the right. Here we go. Hold and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale, bring it in. And bring your head down. Really, really nice. All right. We are going to have our WundaCore and our chair close by. Bring your right foot onto the chair. I'm standing on my left leg. So I'm in turnout with both. Come on up. Right heel is on the chair, in turnout. Left foot is on the ground, in turnout. Take that WundaCore up and overhead. And we're going to lengthen and arc towards the chair. You can open the ribs. You can bring it back. I've got light intention out on the WundaCore. I'm not just hanging out, but I'm also not really stretching. We're going to pick it up, turn towards the chair, and then I'm going to take the WundaCore around the ball of my right foot and just do a nice little forward fold here. I'm now parallel with both feet. Ooh, it's wobbly up here. Hold and breathe for 5, for 3, 2, and remove that WundaCore. Let's go ahead and change sides. I'm going to flip my chair. You can keep yours where it is. Just turn around. Left heel goes onto the chair. Right foot is on the ground and turn out. WundaCore comes up and overhead. And then we're going to inhale, fan the right ribs, reaching towards the chair, stretching via the inner thigh and the side body. You can swivel up to the sky. You can open through the upper back and the ribs. And then come back into a side bend. And then we're going to turn forward. So I'm facing the chair. I'm in parallel with both legs and feet. WundaCore goes around the ball of the left foot. And just do your forward fold, whatever feels good for you. Just send some inhale breath to any areas that might feel a little bit tight or cranky for you today. And then go ahead and take that out. We're going to go through a few side bends with both feet on the ground. Kind of like when we do it with the red band. We're going to exhale as we bow through the middle, round and flex. Inhale, pick it up. Continue that inhale to arc one more time. Exhale down through the middle. Inhale, pick it up. Quick pause at the top. We're going to open our upper back, keeping your low back long. Looking up towards your WundaCore. Come back to stacked. We're going to take the side bend the other direction. So we're inhaling. And then as we forward fold, it should feel kind of like an abdominal curl. We're exhaling through middle, inhaling, pick it up with length. Continue that long inhale. This is our last one. Exhale as you bow, roll forward. Inhale, pick it up. One more time. You can heel toe your feet in about 4 inches apart. Sending energy outbound on the WundaCore. Bend your elbows a little bit. Low back is long, upper back is open, neck is open. For 3, 2, with intention, long arms. Exhale, pull that WundaCore apart as you come back down. And we are finished. Beautiful job, you guys. Really appreciate the focus and the effort. See you next time.